Levi was raised in the underground by his loving mother, Kushel, who was a prostitute and unwell. Levi's father was one of her clients, so Kushel raised him alone. With her worsening illness and the poverty of the underground, they both were sickly thin. But one day, Kenny paid a visit to his sister and found her dead, with Levi at her side, looking gaunt. Although Kenny didn't want to raise Levi, he took him in to keep him from dying of starvation. Through Kenny, Levi learned how to use a knife, how to defend himself, and how to get what he wanted from other people. He also learned how to survive in a rough place like the underground. Once Levi could live without any help, Kenny left him on his own, not thinking he was a good father figure. A few years later, Levi, violent and strong, became a gangster due to his circumstances. He had friends who worked with him, and together they stole from merchants and other well-off people and shared the profit among themselves. This was all that could be done to survive in such a rough place. With enough money saved up, they could eventually live on the surface rather than underground. As Levi was speaking with Farlan, a young girl named Isabel was chased into their place. Men came to get her and Levi beat them back easily. She was accepted into their group so long as she could clean. After they were forced to take a job from a man who helped their sick friend, they were led to the surface. The client warned them that people were after them. The scouts, led by Erwin, came for Levi and his friends to know where they got their ODM gear. Erwin, impressed with Levi's skills, having taught himself how to use it, offered him a place within the scout regiment regardless of his criminal past. If he refused, he'd be taken by the MP and charged for his crimes. As Levi's job was to steal a document from Erwin by the client, he agreed to join. They went on a mission outside the walls and Levi split from his friends when a heavy rain began to try to kill Erwin on his own. However, some abnormal titans attacked the scouts, including Isabel and Farlan, killing them both. Having heard the attack, Levi rushed over and found Isabel's severed head and Farlan being eaten by the titan in question. Prior to the expedition, Levi had told his friends to find a way to stay behind, but they had refused. With an immeasurable amount of despair, Levi roared like a wild beast and attacked the titan from all directions, becoming the Titan Shredder that we all know and love. With confusion as to what he should do with his life now, Levi decides to follow Erwin Smith, who had a clear goal in mind. If you'd like to see more videos like these, be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on, because when it comes to bringing some of the best Attack on Titan content on the platform, Plot Armor has you covered. The year is 850. The morning before the wall is breached for the first time in 5 years, Erwin's team goes on an expedition to the previously destroyed wall to try and clean up whatever titans they can. As they make their way through the city, Captain Levi is praised for his fighting and even called as strong as an entire brigade. And Levi doesn't particularly like it. As there are more than expected, Levi has to help a soldier who was being eaten by a titan. Afterwards, Levi orders his team to take the right side and he'll take the left, which was the side with 2 titans rather than 1. Just as he was in the underground, Levi is grossed out by the mess titans make and their ugly faces. But though Levi hates anything dirty, he doesn't hesitate to take his soldier's hand as he lay dying to let him know that his death was not in vain, that his resolve will also give Levi strength to move forward. They ended up having to turn back as the titans move inward toward where it is more densely populated. Near the end of the Battle of Trost, Levi arrives just in time to kill the titans who were cornering Armin and Eren when he passed out after exiting the titan body. Levi had no idea why there was an empty titan body with them at its feet. But thanks to his transformation, the squad captured 2 titans at 4 meters and 7 meters. While Eren is imprisoned by the military police for attacking Mikasa and giving them doubt as to his trustworthiness, Levi meets him officially. Levi was distrustful of Eren since he couldn't remember everything, and Dr. Grisha Yeager, whose key has all the secrets, was missing, but he is impressed by Eren's resolve to join the Survey Corps and kill titans. With that, Levi announces that he is taking responsibility for him, and if he steps out of line, Levi will end him. The military police bring Eren to speak on the stand, but Levi has to step in to stop Eren from being shot when he gets too rowdy and scares the people at the hearing. Levi beats him and subdues him like a dog to prove that he can control him. He even makes him lose a tooth with the force of his kick. Levi acts like the bad guy so well that the military police are taken aback by his actions and worry Eren might change and kill them. But Levi points out that Eren was able to kill 20 other titans on his own and yet is still not on his level. They propose exactly that Levi be in charge of killing Eren should anything go wrong on their journey outside the walls with a test run expedition. Afterwards, Levi asks Eren if he resents him for that act. Special Operations Squad Captain Levi brings Eren to the former Survey Corps headquarters along with his elite team, but first he wants everything to be spotless, seeing as he is a clean freak. Levi insists that Eren sleep in the dungeon Titan in case he accidentally turns, that way he won't hurt anyone. Eren is also informed that Levi would first cut his body out of the nape of his Titan rather than straight up kill him if necessary. They then discuss the next day's plans, and Hange decides to take Eren off of Levi's hands, curious about doing experiments on a Titan who can communicate. The next day they go on patrol and Eren has to stay close at all times. That was the arrangement. With that, they embark on their test mission, with most of the members being unaware of Eren's position within the formation. Abnormal Titans begin to show up, and one particularly agile and intelligent female Titan arrives as well, breaking through their tactics. Levi realizes a traitor has somehow gotten deep within the survey regiment and moves them towards the forest because it was easier to stop the female Titan there and use their gear on her. When she catches up to them in the forest, Levi tells them all to ride faster and not confront her, as he knows Erwin has some kind of plan to stop her. As Eren considers using Titan power without permission, Levi says he's a real monster, and not because of the Titan within him, because his personality is so hard to control and he will break out of any situation that he feels trapped in. Levi gives Eren the choice to trust his comrades or to turn into a Titan and fight on his own. They continue deeper within the forest instead of facing the female Titan. An ambush awaits her, and as it gets some distance, Levi orders his team to get Eren away from her as she is after him specifically. Levi discusses with Eren that the rear squad was killed for this ambush plan to succeed, so thanks to their sacrifices they can now find out who is hiding within her Titan. With the female Titan immobilized, Levi confronts her. He speaks of how she is wasting their time, how there is no escape for her, and how she had fun while killing his soldiers. He then asks if she'll let him cut off her limbs. But before he can go through with that plan, the female Titan screams and her Titan body is eaten by abnormal Titan who are attracted to the sound. And from instinct alone, Levi figured that out. As he watched their body being eaten, he wondered what will happen to them or Eren now that this Titan has infiltrated them and gotten away with it. Levi wants to quickly rejoin his team, but Erwin stops him and forces him to refill on blades and gas before he goes. Although Levi is further away trying to catch up, he hears when Eren turns into a Titan and predicts it's because the worst has happened. As he catches up, he sees the bodies of his fallen team of special ops stopping nearby where Petra was killed, who surely reminds him of Isabel. His face may give nothing away, but just the lack of any words makes his expression that much more powerful and upsetting as he silently mourns them. When Levi reaches Eren's location, he has to stop Mikasa from pursuing the female Titan as she is not thinking clearly. He physically forces her to fall back by carrying her away on his ODM gear. They can pursue the female Titan, but from a safe distance instead. Levi has to calm Mikasa when she blames him for Eren's predicament, and he has to remind her that their goal is not to kill the female Titan. Also, she can harden her flesh and break their blades. The plan is for Levi to slice at it and Mikasa to distract her. But as they begin, the female Titan pretends to ignore Levi. He doesn't fall for it and attacks her so smoothly and efficiently that she has no time to harden. As she falls and covers her nape, Levi focuses his attacks on her tendons, but it is too soon to aim for her nape, and Levi stops Mikasa before she is killed, which causes him to injure his ankle. Despite the pain to his leg, at the same moment, he is able to split the Titan's jaw open and release Eren from her clutches, grabbing him and leaving. Once they near the wall, Levi sits next to his fallen comrades and takes their military patches as memorials. As some other members argue they want to take a friend's body back, Levi says that they just need to tell their family. But they disobey the orders and bring the body back, but also Titans as they follow them. With no tall buildings or trees to grapple onto, they end up having to throw the bodies off of the fallen Titans, with Levi knowing this isn't the first time bodies were not recovered on a mission. But Levi is definitely upset when he sees Petra's body being thrown from the carriage. When they manage to get back to safety, Levi explains that the patches mean that they were alive to him, and he offers the one from Ivan, their friend who they insisted on bringing back. And back within the walls, Petra's father comes to see Levi about his daughter, confessing that she probably wants to be with him as he received a letter from her. He says it's probably too early for her to get married, with Levi staring off in the distance, knowing that he has to tell her father what happened. With the mission's failure, the military police are expected to get Eren and take him into custody. However, Erwin and his men arrive first and discuss how Annie is likely the female Titan. They trick the military police by having John take his place with a wig, but the plan starts to break down when they don't understand how a Titan is so deep within the walls. Niall of the military police accuses Levi and Erwin of treason and takes Erwin into custody. Levi wants to get involved with the fight between Eren and Annie, but his injury is preventing him. But just as Eren's Titan is being swallowed up by Annie's crystallization, Levi rushes over and cuts him out of the nape. He admonishes Eren for how close he was to eating Annie, a valuable witness. Now that they have her, they can't even question her, and Levi knows this couldn't be called a success. With the announcement of a new Breach Within Wall Rose, Levi has no choice but to go clean up the Titans. Levi's squad takes Pastor Nick with them to show what it means to have Titans forcing people out of their homes and into danger, and because he is hiding information from them about the walls. Before they go, Levi, believing in Eren, tells him he has no choice but to seal the walls before their survival rests on his shoulders. As Levi and the pastor came across wall survivors fleeing from the Titans who breach, Levi explains that this is what it looks like to not be in the safety of the inner wall with military police to protect them. After receiving a report from Sasha, they notice a giant gorilla-sized Titan, the Beast Titan, walking towards the walls. Levi tells them to calm down and focus. They need to work with Hanj to find smart solutions to deal with the Titans. He also insists Mikasa protect Eren at all costs, knowing how much she cares about him. Levi then tells Eren to control his emotions and not let them take over. The interior officers and/or military police make jokes about there not being any Titans inside the walls where they were dispatched, and Levi says that they could always join him on expeditions outside the walls if they want to fight some Titans to scare them. Shortly after this, Erwin and Levi are informed of more people having Titan powers: Ymir, Reiner, and Bertolt, and Eren was taken by them. With Levi still injured, he couldn't join the scouts on their mission to save Eren, but as soon as they return, Levi is by Erwin's side, watching over him as he is now missing an arm. Connie and Hanj reveal a theory that the true identity of Titans are humans, just like them, Rogako Village being the proof, and Levi is utterly shocked. He can't believe he's been killing people for years. Erwin is happy about learning this, but Levi doesn't think the cost, the lives they lost, including half of the veteran scouts, is worth finding out this truth. No one will be left in the end. About a week later, Levi has his new elite team clean up a cabin in the woods. There he has Eren trained to use his Titan hardening with Hanj to not so great effect. Levi knows that they have a long road ahead of them, but he is hopeful that if they can somehow manage to get Eren to succeed, then it would save a lot of time and supplies to block the wall. With spies possibly closing in, Levi orders Historia to go with Eren while he goes with Hanj to Trost. He thinks back to the pastor telling him about her royal blood and how she might be aware of secrets that no one else knows. Levi reports he failed training results to Erwin and wonders if maybe Historia could know anything about hardening. Later, Levi finds out from Hanj that Pastor Nick was tortured and murdered in the Trost barracks, and Levi respects that the pastor did not give away any information and kept his beliefs until the very end. As Levi is back in their cabin, he receives a warning message from Erwin. They pack everything up and leave just in time to escape the military police. Levi says the best place to hide is in Trost, where everyone is on edge because of Pastor Nick's murder, and if they are targeted, they can use their gear if needed. Levi borrows some of Hanj's squad and they head to Trost. They walk the streets trying to keep a low profile, but Levi's instincts warn him of impending danger. Before anyone else notices, a carriage comes racing from behind them, taking Historia and Eren. Everything goes according to plan. Mikasa reports to him that they don't suspect anything just yet, but that Armin is in trouble of being found out soon. Levi doesn't understand why the military police would use amateurs as kidnappers since they are elite and prideful, but he pushes that aside for now and focuses on getting John and Armin back safely instead, warning Mikasa that they will be fighting other people this time as well. Levi goes to find Eren and Hanj's people, but he has a feeling something is wrong even though their plan seems to be working so far. Levi tells Nifa, who's standing guard on a rooftop with him, about Kenny the Ripper, who also happens to be the man who raised him for a while. And while he's discussing his tactics, he realizes Kenny is likely involved. And just as he thinks that, Kenny is behind them. Levi could not warn Nifa in time, and so she is shot and killed. And another one of Hanj's people is shot down soon after, and Levi howls with rage. A fast-paced battle begins between Levi and Kenny, with both of them being veteran fighters. Levi catches up to the carriage by slipping through the narrow houses, but notices Historia and Eren are already unconscious. More of the anti-personnel control squad, Kenny's team, corner him and force him to fight them instead. Dashing through the city, in lanes, around the buildings, and over rooftops, Levi is able to hide inside a tavern behind the bar to catch his breath. Levi questions how Kenny went from slaughtering 100 military police officers to now being one of them, and while Kenny is busy answering his questions, Levi turns one of the bottles and uses it to see where he is, and aims the establishment owner's shotgun to shoot him out. He then tricks Kenny's men by throwing out a chair and shoots them with the ODM gear spikes. As Levi regroups with his own squad, he warns them that Kenny's team is used to fighting other humans, so they cannot hesitate or they will be killed, and Eren and Historia will be taken. As they continue to chase the carriage, Armin and John are saved by Levi and Sasha, but Kenny's group have their prize. Not unlike in the past, Levi has to stop Mikasa from chasing after them. While sharing a meal, in a warehouse where they have the merchant Demo Reeves hostage, Levi tries to console Armin. Levi admits that Armin can't be the same anymore now that he has killed someone, and there is no point in trying to go back to the past. If he hadn't shot the anti-personnel member, then John would be dead right now. Levi appreciates that his decision saved their squad from losing any members. When they're done eating, Levi convinces Demo Reeves to help them fight the government and take a stand so they can continue to help the people of his city that he cares about. There aren't any guarantees, but Levi can guarantee that he will do his best to save them. Shortly after this, Levi's team kidnaps one of the military police named Stohess, who knows where Eren and Historia are, and torture him. They trick the guy into talking by pretending his colleague had told them everything already. He reveals that Historia is the true royal heir, and her father Rod Race was the one who paid to have her taken. Levi finds out about Eren being fed to Historia to give her his Titan, and asks Hange to tell the rest of their team. Levi then has to reel Mikasa in as she intends to go after them on her own. The plan is to go all together and get Eren out before he is eaten, and to have Historia ascend to the throne. Since the scouts are framed for the murder of Demo Reeves, they're hunted and forced to hide in the forest to keep from being caught. This was made more convincing by the battle that previously caused a slew of casualties in the Stohess district as they tried to catch Annie, the female Titan. After Sasha lets Levi know there are some people coming, they decide to ambush the military police officers, Hitch and Marlowe. They take their uniforms and weapons from them. While Levi wonders how to dispose of the two officers, Hitch tells him that it is their fault that so many people were killed, and he agrees. But when she tries to blame them for Annie's death, Levi puts it straight. She is the Titan who is doing the damage. She was not killed. All of the false information and gaps in knowledge causing more harm than the actual Titans. Levi then says that they will be tied somewhere safe and left there with no plans of killing the military police. Marlowe pleads to join the scouts to help change the wrongs, but Levi does not trust him. John insists that he take care of Marlowe instead, wanting to see if his intentions are in fact on the side of justice and genuine. When it is made clear that they can be trusted, Levi thanks them for their help, seeing as no one is on their side anymore. With their help, they are able to break through the military police's base in the woods and take the leader hostage to find Eren and Historia's exact location. The officer confesses that he doesn't know anything, as Kenny Ackerman made sure to keep it secret. With the reveal of his last name, Levi's interest sparks as to his relation to Mikasa, since they share the same last name. This also implies Levi had no idea what his own last name was until this very moment. Unfortunately, what seems like more military police show up in the forest and surround them. They ultimately turn out to be Hange and her people. Levi is informed that the coup d'etat Erwin planned worked out, and they will be awaiting Historia's rise to the throne when they get her back, that is. All of the truth is published in newspapers thanks to Demo Reeves' son. Although the result is in their favor, Levi regrets losing the 3 Survey Corps members that Hange had loaned him, apologizing to her for that, but Hange instead tells him that she knows how to find where Eren and Historia are being kept. On the way to get the kidnapped scouts back, Levi questions Mikasa as to if she is related to Kenny. This is followed by a question regarding a jolt of strength, which appears suddenly that both Levi and Kenny experienced in tense moments. It also gave him a clear understanding of what he was meant to do in those situations. As they get closer to finding Eren, Levi prepares the team mentally for what must be done this time. They will have to kill other people if they want to survive this confrontation with Kenny's team. And when no one has any objections, Levi understands that this time is different for all of them. Then the underground cave battle begins. With gunpowder and oil to create smoke that provides them with cover, Levi is able to use their gear and count how many enemies they have to face and where they are positioned. The cave's twists and turns allow them to sneak up on the anti-personnel members and slash them when they get up close. Levi chases them down, striking fear into their very souls, but Kenny stops him before he can cut anyone else down. A fight between Levi and Kenny ensues, with student and teacher pitted against one another. Kenny points out that he taught him how to fight better than he is, but Levi's reaction time is godlike regardless. Levi finally slashes Kenny's side, and he has to retreat, with Levi chasing after him. With Team Levi being blocked by a net set up by the anti-personnel squad, they can't reach Eren even though he has been freed by Historia. But the blowback from Rod Race's Titan transformation helps them break through their barrier. Levi stays behind but asks Armin and Mobley to take Hanj, who is injured, through a hole in the ceiling. They rush to unlock Eren, but with the cave collapsing, there is not much hope of survival. But again, Levi tells Eren to decide their fate, whether to stay and die or try and escape somehow. After witnessing Eren's absolute hardening to keep the cave from crashing on them, he is beyond impressed. Levi guesses that this is similar to how the walls were made as well, which means the next step is to plug up the hole in Wall Maria. A faint glimmer of hope at least, but before they can get there, Levi knows that they must take down Rod Race's Titan and ask for Erwin's advice. With a giant Race Titan approaching the walls and the cannons more or less effective in slowing it down, it all comes down to these scouts to take it out. Once Race reaches the wall, grabbing a hold of it, the scouts take over and use explosives as well as Eren's Titan to finish it off. To make sure it is completely dead, Levi and his squad fly in and slice its massive body. Later, Levi finds Kenny in his final moments of life as he has a Titan injection serum on his person. Although there is a chance it could heal Kenny's severe injuries, he hesitates to take it and become a slave like the royals he had met. Levi, with Kenny closing in on death, demands to know everything that he is hiding, but all he finds out is that Kenny is his uncle and receives the syringe from him. After Historia is officially crowned, Levi allows her to hit him and even thanks her and his squad for all their help getting this far. They commence the hardening experiments right away, with Hanj pushing Eren to his limits and Levi having to be there to check on him when his nose starts bleeding. Levi considers slowing down for a bit, but Eren just wants to get back to Shinganshina and block up the wall. Levi's squad heads over to see Commandant Stohess, who trained the recruits, and asks for any information he might have concerning Dr. Grisha and the basement near Wall Maria. All he can say for certain is that Eren was taken into the forest with his father and then found alone and brought back to a shelter as an orphan. As the day for retaking Shinganshina approaches, Erwin leaves Levi with the Titan serum, seeing as he is an elite soldier with a high chance of survival. When the time comes, it is up to Levi, who he wants to save with it as well. Levi takes Erwin aside alone, asking what they should do once the wall is finally plugged, knowing that Erwin might not live through the battle considering his missing arm. As a friend, rather than as a subordinate, Levi suggests Hanj take over his role and he stay where the danger can't reach him so he can survive long enough to know what information is in the basement. He insists on this to keep him alive, but Erwin does not agree and wants to just be replaced if he dies. In terms of military tactics, however, Levi thinks that they cannot survive without Erwin to command them in the future, as so many unknowns are yet to be discovered. But Erwin's stubborn mindset would not allow him to just sit back and watch, so Levi goes as far as to threatening to break both his legs so he cannot take action. Not that it works on him, so in the end, Levi lets Erwin do as he wanted. That same evening, the scouts celebrate the upcoming mission with drinks and meat, and everyone is going wild for it all. When the party dies down, Levi overhears Armin discussing his dreams of what the world looks like outside the walls, thoughtful but also interested. During the sunset of their expedition to Wall Maria, a huge commotion is made as a send-off for the scouts, the first in their history, and they all cheer gratefully, with Levi wondering who told the civilians about their plan. They then move at night when Titans are least active to reach Shinganshina. The scouts make it out of the forest and near the houses by dawn, switching to ODM gear and climbing the wall. For some reason though, not a single Titan is around. Eren quickly blocks a hole in the wall, but Levi reminds him that it won't matter so long as the Armored and Colossal as well as Beast Titans are still alive and can just break through again. After evidence is found of people near the wall, a search begins with all scouts searching for a cavity in the wall where someone could hide. The spot is found and the scout who found it reports, but he is killed before anyone can react. Just as quickly though, Levi drops down the wall from the top and stabs right through Reiner's neck and chest. He is rendered unconscious for a moment, but not long enough for Levi to let down his guard. Levi is then forced to retreat as Reiner's body drops to the ground and he transforms, somehow surviving a direct attack to the throat. The scouts, Levi included, are forced to face a Beast Titan and his small army of Titans as he closed off their escape route and killed their horses. Realizing there is another intelligent Titan, the Cart Titan, their survival rate is getting lowered by the minute. With Levi's squad protecting Eren and fighting the Armored Titan, and Hanja's squad protecting the horses and Erwin's side of the wall, Levi is called aside for a separate mission: take down the Beast Titan. Levi promises that he will succeed since he wasn't able to end Reiner early on the wall. On the way to the Beast Titan, Levi clears out the smaller Titans within the walls, wreaking havoc so these scouts can escape on their horses. But that is not all that slows his progress. The Colossal Titan is now joined in and is throwing debris at the scouts the same way that the Beast Titan was. With no way of seeing the situation inside the walls, Levi has no choice but to move forward and try to avoid the incoming objects thrown by the Beast Titan on his side. As he manages to take cover at the last moment, all he can see is blood and body parts being thrown everywhere. With little to no scouts left, Levi thinks it is time for Erwin to try and make his way to Eren so that they can at least survive this fight, all while using their surviving members as decoys. He also suggests going after the Beast Titan alone to keep him occupied to ensure Erwin gets away at the very least, knowing it could mean his certain death. Erwin refuses Levi's suicidal plan and turns it around, offering his life and all the scouts so that Levi can end the Beast Titan once and for all. With more resolve than he had in the past, Levi agrees to let Erwin die and all the scouts if it means advancing humanity closer to the truth, even if it means losing a dear friend and commander, as the pain was evident on Levi's face. As the charge commences, the Beast Titan misses Levi's approach from the side in all the chaos and his overconfidence, using all of the Titans he grappled onto as stepping stones to reach him. When the smoke that these scouts shut up starts to clear, the Beast Titan realizes his Titan companions are dead, too little, too late. Levi bursts from the green smoke, attaching himself right to the giant gorilla, Beast Titan, and his face is covered in Titan blood. Though the Beast Titan tries to grab him, he is far too slow, and Levi slashes all the way through his arm like a tornado, aiming for his nape next. When he misses, he gets both of the Titan's eyes, now aiming for his tendons near his feet to keep him from escaping. Every moment is fierce, calculated, and filled to the brim with anger over losing so many good people to this monster. Levi has him down, vulnerable, and slashes at his neck like butter, getting to his human form with ease. Just to make sure he doesn't go anywhere, Levi sticks his blade down his throat. With this win, there is hope that someone has survived the battle and the injection can be used to save their life and have them eat this man who enjoyed crushing them all so much. He can even save Erwin. But Levi considers this too soon. The Card Titan comes for the Beast Titan's body, running off with him in her mouth. Meanwhile, the Beast Titan sends more Titans after Levi, who is now standing out in the open. But if you know Levi by now, this will not stop him. His fury as a result of failing to keep his promise to Erwin courses through him, and he kills Titan after Titan. Half dead but still angry as hell, Levi follows the Beast Titan back over the wall to where he was talking to Eren. When he lands, he is steaming from the Titan blood on his body evaporating, asking for Eren's gas and blades so that he can keep hunting Zeke. But just then, Armin's body fights for survival and the focus shifts from revenge to salvaging the situation by reviving someone. As Eren panics watching Armin fight for air, Levi slowly takes out the syringe, not sure if this is the person he wants to save. If there is even a chance, however small, that Erwin survived the Beast Titan's barrage, wouldn't humanity be better off with him as the Colossal Titan? And that way, Erwin could see the secrets hidden in Dr. Grisha's basement after all. These were all the thoughts going through Levi's head as he slowly accepts that Armin will instead get the injection. But Levi hesitates once more, his own friend's dreams and final words running through his mind. Just then, one of the newer scouts named Flock arrives with a barely alive Erwin strapped to his back. A heated debate, leading to even insubordination from Eren and Mikasa, ensues, with everyone disagreeing on who should be saved. Flock mentions that death would be too easy for someone like Erwin, who sacrificed so many lives already. And that seems to strike Levi in a way that arguing about who would be most useful does not. In the end, with Hanj intervening and calming everyone down, Levi decides to let Erwin rest in peace as he revives Armin to become the Colossal Titan. Erwin had done more than anyone could ask, and despite Levi trying to protect Erwin from this very outcome, Erwin pushed forward wanting to save humanity rather than worry about his own well-being. And so who was Levi to deny him that in the end? And with that most difficult decision, Levi faces the fact that Erwin is no longer among the living when Hanj calls it. Choosing Armin was not what Levi expected, but he doesn't regret doing so, even if Armin is confused by his revival. His decision was also heavily tainted by Armin's friends pleading to save his life. And though Erwin is not there to find out the secrets with him, Levi heads to the basement with Hanj, Eren, and Mikasa now that everything is settled. After they leave with Grisha's notebooks, Levi visits Eren and Mikasa, who are serving time for insubordination, and lets them out with permission from Zackley. They then have a meeting with the new queen, Historia, to discuss the history of Eldians and how they are hated by the rest of the world. Later, that information is also published and given to everyone on their island. For their consistent and courageous work, the surviving scouts are given medals by Queen Historia in front of all military personnel. Months pass by, and with Pure Titans almost completely wiped out, the scouts go on an expedition beyond Walmaria. There, they discover the ocean just as it was in Grisha's books, and like Levi had overheard Armin talking about in the past. Not long after the scouts' latest expedition, Marley survey ships begin to arrive near Paradise Island's borders. In order to stop them from collecting intel and get some information themselves, Levi's team takes them captive. They speak with Yelena, who volunteers information about the weaponry and vehicles used, as she calls herself an anti-Marleyan. After roughly a year passes, Kiyomi Azumabito from the nation of Hizuru is the next visitor to Paradise Island and the only ally left for the Eldians. Yelena is the one to set it up, but Levi is still distrustful of her and won't even let her shake Eren's hand. Once she reveals the conditions for their alliance, they are given money to start building up their own nation. Levi believes her conditions are the only way for them to survive now that the world sees them all as devils. And then it is time for them to visit Marley up close and personal. Levi and the gang head there on a ship, discovering new things and vast amounts of people. With spending money provided by Azumabito, they're able to enjoy new foods and sights while also gathering as much information on Marley as possible, seeing as how they are the main enemy to the Paradise inhabitants. 4 years after the battle to retake Walmaria, Levi and the scouts are forced to fight Marleyan soldiers due to Eren's infiltration of their ranks and acceptance of their declaration of war. Right as Eren is being attacked by the new Jaw Titan, Levi makes his appearance and slashes his jaw muscles. Funnily enough, his reaction to the scouts and their enhanced gear created both for Titan killing and war makes him comparable to pure Titans who didn't know what to expect and couldn't stop Levi before he got to them. As the fight rages on, the Beast Titan arrives, with Levi getting his chance at a rematch finally. With Armin causing destruction on the battleships and Eren fighting the Marleyan Titans, Levi easily gets behind Zeke and slashes his nape open. The intense rage on his face clearly showing that he is still not anywhere near being over Erwin's death at the hands of Zeke. But Levi has to dampen that emotion, as this is all just an act in order to fake the Beast Titan's death. As the airship picks up their members to head back to Paradise, Levi confronts Eren on his behavior after having left for months with no way to know what happened to him besides some letters and dragging them into this messy battle. Eren's expression is so defeated and empty that it reminds Levi of the people who lived in the underground in his past. Gabi, having shot Sasha when she snuck on their airship, ends up killing her. Levi looks away, devastated with the loss of another person who could have survived, were it not for Zeke and Eren's plan to fight the Marleyan soldiers on their own turf. After the airship arrives back on Paradise Island, Levi isolates Zeke from Eren, taking him in a carriage as far away from where Eren is being held as possible. Although Levi gives Zeke the benefit of the doubt, not sure of the details of his plan to save the Eldians, he still does not trust him. They end up in the forest of giant trees just in case Zeke tries anything. If he does, Levi would have plenty of ways to attack him with the new gear and thunder spears. As Levi questions him about his method of controlling the Titans of Ragako, Zeke explains that he uses a gas made from his spinal fluid that allows him to communicate orders through the coordinate. Levi senses from his attitude that he doesn't regret sacrificing those people or any of the other Eldians he killed in the past. Levi then receives a report that Zackley was murdered and the Jaegerists have taken over control. With this revelation, Levi begins to contemplate whether all the times they saved Eren and lost comrades in the process was worth it. As the risks pile up, Levi decides they need to feed Zeke to someone they can trust. But Zeke overhears this and is able to stop Levi from chopping off his limbs like he had planned by unleashing the Scream and turning all these soldiers in the forest into pure Titans. With no one to back him up and no way to reverse the effects, Levi has to kill the 30 soldiers who had been enjoying the wine. Zeke flees with the help of the Titans he is controlling, unaware of the sacrifices Levi will take in order to keep his promise to Erwin. The Beast Titan must die. Unlike in their first encounter, Levi easily overpowers Zeke by himself and uses the Thunder Spear to blow him out of the Titan body. As Zeke begins to heal, Levi chops off limbs to ensure he cannot transform and ties a Thunder Spear to him for good measure. But Levi also underestimates Zeke's resolve as he blows them both up by setting off the trap. While a downpour of ruin follows, Han finds Levi half dead but still alive. fingers missing, and an eye injured beyond repair. Seeing no way of helping Levi with the Jaegerists pointing guns at them, Hans jumps with Levi into the river and flees. Once they are safe from pursuit, Hans stitches Levi up, surprised his Ackerman blood allows him to survive so well. After waking up, the first thought Levi has is finding the Beast Titan and taking him down. Levi, still severely injured and being dragged on a cart by Hanj, is brought before Magath and Peak to ask them for assistance in ending the rumbling. Levi adds that all he wants to do is kill Zeke, which they can agree to as well. Later, after tricking Flock and conspiring with the Marleyan Eldians, the remaining members of Squad Levi team up with them, as well as Onyonkopon, to try and save the world. The team up is not easy, and there are bumps and unease among them that needs to be smoothed out, but the end of the world is coming, so there's not really much time to spare. Meanwhile, Levi just wants to rest and save his energy for Zeke. As their team confronts the Jaegerists and saves Azumabito and her engineers, all Levi can do is sit it out next to Yelena, hoping they may get out in time to catch up to the Colossal Titan army. They do escape, but their next stop is when they do maintenance on the vehicle they need to use. They rush to Odiha with their ship to repair the flying boat, and Levi can't stand being benched any longer. He forces himself out of bed and wants to question Yelena on where Eren is heading, with Armin keeping an eye on him. Later, Levi prepares himself for battle, getting his gear ready, and everyone is shocked at this with the extent of his injuries. When an unexpected appearance from Flock slows their departure, the rumbling begins to catch up. As Hanj volunteers to slow the Titans so they can leave, Levi sadly stands in front of Hanj, unable to hide the sadness of her inevitable death. He tells her to devote her heart and walks away without looking back. On the flying boat heading to Salta, Levi and the rest of the Eldians are pulled into the path by Eren, and he tells them that they are all free to do as they please, but he won't end the rumbling unless they kill him. Before this, Levi considered that killing Zeke may be the only way to end it anyway. They catch up to Eren and jump onto his back. As they move away from Armin so he can transform, he ends up being captured instead, with Levi pointing out that if he were injured, he would have become the Colossal Titan already. With an army of 9 Titans from the past attacking them, Levi tells everyone to focus on rescuing Armin to end this battle. But the battle takes a toll on him, making it difficult to keep fighting back with no way to catch up to Armin. Despite this, Levi is able to save Connie when he loses consciousness and keep fighting. At the last moment, Falco's flying jaw titan saves them all. With time to regroup, Levi says they need to split up and both save Armin and attack Eren's nape at the same time. And even though that is the plan, Levi still regrets not being able to have a more peaceful solution to dealing with Eren. As they return to the back of Eren's titan, Levi thinks about his promise to Erwin and what the world was like before they knew there was more beyond the walls. Even so, he still does not regret having revived Armin instead of Erwin. With Armin able to convince Zeke to help stop Eren, Zeke regains control of some of the past Titans to help protect them from the fight. Just then, Zeke appears out of a portion of Eren's spine, and Levi takes that single moment as a sign to end him immediately. The rumbling stops completely. Falco flies him away, and Armin's Colossal Titan explodes on his nape. But it is not over. Eren's body morphs into a Colossal Titan, seeking out the Founding Titan to restart the rumbling. Levi knows that this won't end until they kill Eren. A cloud of smoke fills the air, the same kind that Ragauko village was victim of, and Levi tells everyone to leave as pure Titans will start appearing from all their friends. With everyone busy fighting Titans or transformed, the only ones left to stop Eren are Levi and Mikasa. Levi helps by shooting a Thunder Spear at Eren's colossal mouth and making an entrance for her to slash him. As the battle ends with the smoke clearing, Levi sees all the scouts who died, letting them know that they succeeded in their mission to rid the world of Titans after all. And with so much overwhelming emotion, Levi silently cries. 3 years later, Levi now lives in Marley, being wheeled around by Falco and Gabi, accompanied by Onyonkopon. And with this, he reads the newspaper peacefully. As always, I am Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.